Hello everyone, we are starting a new chapter in our math book today. This is chapter 14 and this is on geometry figures. And we're going to be talking about surface area and volume of geometric figures. This is a perfect Friday lesson because it's just introducing you again to geometric figures, and it's kind of an easy, quick lesson, and so this will be great for us. I want you to turn to page 327 and get page 327 out, and it should look like this. And we're going to talk about three-dimensional and two-dimensional figures today. A two-dimensional figure just has length and width. That means that it is flat. So, like this, okay, like my flat coaster. It doesn't have much of a height to it, okay? That would be the middle here. So it's just length and width. It's flat. It's 2D. A piece of paper, which I don't have around here. Let's see. Here's a piece of paper. A piece of paper is 2D because it's flat. It doesn't have any height to it, okay? But as we talk about 3D, 3D has length, width, and height to it. Length, width, and height. So if you've got like this, like a game box, okay, you've got the length, the width, and now you have a height to it. So now we have a three-dimensional object instead of just two-dimensional. And there's different kinds of those depending on the shape that it's based on. And there's some vocabulary we want to make sure we understand. So a face, okay, this would be the face of the box, is a flat surface of a solid figure. So face, 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 right? Face. Any flat side. An edge is where two faces meet. Simple. Edge. This would be an edge. This would be an edge. This would be an edge. Anywhere where those faces meet. Okay? The vertex is where three corners meet. Or three edges. So, edge, edge, edge. So, okay, it comes together right here. So, really, another word for that would be the point. So, point. This is a vertex. 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 Okay? And then they show you a cone here on the other side. And a cone has one vertex right there at the top. And it has a curved surface. It doesn't have an edge. Okay? And the face is the bottom part, the circle. Okay, so now we need to decide if these objects are 2D or 3D. Okay? So, is a ball 2D or 3D? It's 3D because it is not flat. If it were just a picture, then it would be 2D, but that's 3D. A bookmark. A bookmark is flat, so it is 2D. A coffee cup. It has all dimensions to it, doesn't it? Height, width, and length, so it is 3D. What about a cooler? Look at all that. That's definitely 3D, isn't it? And then a game board, just the board, doesn't have any height to it. So a game board would be 2D. Okay, now we want to make sure that we understand all the different kinds of three-dimensional figures. So we have here a cube, okay, which is a square prism. So it's a square with some height. We have cylinders. Here's my examples that I could find of a cylinder. This is some of those thin wafer cookies, and they come in a cylinder like this. And then I found another one that had breadcrumbs in it. This is a cylinder. See, it starts as a circle, but it has some height to it. And then a sphere. So anytime if you have a basketball or a volleyball or not football, a soccer ball, that would be a sphere, right? A cone. Couldn't find, if we had some party hats, that would be a good cone, wouldn't it? I couldn't find anything else. And then a square pyramid. A square pyramid. I did find, this is not a square prism, but I did find a candy box, okay, is three-dimensional, right? Okay, so let's answer these below. Which figure has 6 faces? So 6 faces. A cylinder has 2, just here and here. That's the only faces that it has. This has 1. How many does the square pyramid have? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the bottom would be 5. So what about here? A rectangular one is the same as a square, so it would have 1, 2, top and bottom, and then 4 around. So that's 6. So the figure that has 6 faces is the square prism. Let's make my writing a little bit smaller here. Okay, which figure has 1 circular face and a curved surface? 1 circular face and a curved surface. So this one only has 1 face. This has 2. So we're talking about a cone there. A cone has 1 face and a curved surface. Which figure has 4 triangular faces and a square face? 4 triangular faces and a square. Right here, right? The square pyramid, because it's made up of triangles, but it has a square on the bottom. So the square pyramid. Which figure has no faces, no edges, and no vertices? The sphere, right? The sphere doesn't have any edges, no points, nothing. Which figure has 2 circular faces and a curved surface? So what are we left with here? The cylinder has 2 circular faces. Whoops. Okay. Now, it's pretty easy, right? Let's look at the back. Now, when you take a three-dimensional figure and then you take it apart, okay, and cut it. If I were to cut this, what I would be making is a net. I'm going to see if I have some scissors. Okay. So if I have the net is what the 3D looks like flat. So if I were to cut this right down the middle, and then cut it so that it could be flat. Okay, like this. That used to be a cylinder. Now, really, an accurate cylinder, this one had a lid. If it didn't have a lid, it would look like this. Do you see that? So that is a net. If you were to take a 3D figure like I just did and cut it open and make it flat, what does it look like if it's flat? So which one of these? I just showed you what a cylinder would look like. Can you find it there? Okay. So this one, number 13, would be the cylinder, right? Okay. So what would this be? If it's got a circular base and then it's going to come to a point when it curves, that's going to be the cone, isn't it? And this one, okay, if each square is going to fold up, this is going to become a cube or a square prism, okay? And then this one, see how all of these come to a point? That means that that's going to be a pyramid, and look at the base. The base is a square, so it is a square pyramid. Okay. Draw an arrow to label the parts of the figure named. Okay, so we have a face. So this is a face. right? One of these is a face, that's a face, that's a face. An edge would be right there, right? That would be an edge. And a vertex would be right there. That little point right there would be a vertex. Okay? Vertex, face, edge. Now let's do the same thing for here. Face is this circular part down here, right? That's the face. The curved surface is the cone part. And the vertex is the tippy top right here. Okay? The part of the birthday hat where your little streamers come out. That's the vertex. Okay? Use the word bank to complete this statement. So here's our word bank. We have base, circular, net, one, prism, sphere, square, pyramid, vertex. Make sure I have. Okay, so let's answer the questions. A cone has blank curved surface, one face that is blank, and one blank at its peak. So a cone has one curved surface, a face that is circular, and one vertex at its peak. Okay, so we have used one, circular, and vertex. A blank can be rolled since it has no vertices, edges, or faces. What doesn't have any of those? A sphere. And a sphere can be rolled. A blank has 5 faces. 5 faces. Which one of these has 5 faces? That would be a square pyramid. Each face of a cylinder can also be called each face of a cylinder. So that's this part and this part can also be called a base. And a cylinder has 2 bases. The flat pattern of a 3-dimensional figure is called, that's what we talked about at the top of this page, a net. And the last question, a blank has at least 2 faces that are identical and parallel to each other. And that would be a prism. Prism. Not a pyramid. Sometimes students get confused between pyramids and prisms. Pyramids are the ones that are going to come to a point, and the prisms are going to be boxy, like this. They're going to have some height to them, okay, but they're not going to come to a point. All right, we went over all of that. You have nothing left to do on your own. What I do want you to do in the comments below is I want you to look around and tell me, give me some 3D figure in your home. Okay, what can you find? I showed you a candy box. I showed you a breadcrumb box. I showed you a cookie tin. Okay, so tell me what you have and tell me what 3D object it is. So is it a cube? Is it a cylinder? Is it a square pyramid? A square prism? This I would call a rectangular prism. This is probably going to be the most common in your home, don't you think? Cereal boxes are going to be rectangular prisms. Game boxes are going to be rectangular prisms. This is pretty close to a cube, but not quite. It's a little bit rectangular, right? Sometimes cubes are a little bit harder to find. Maybe you can find some cones in your house, but tell me below something that you can find at your house, a 3D object, and tell me what it is.